Well. If you had been rooting for me to come crashing down to earth with my DFS play, you are going to love this show because we got absolutely dusted in week 7. I mean, maybe a min cash or two to find there between the couch cushions. Otherwise, it was just complete devastation, an absolute bloodbath. But the show must go on. We got to recap the slate regardless of how we do. I'm Pete Overzet. This is the portfolio review. We're going to run through the good, the bad, the ugly on Underdog and DraftKings this week. Let's do it.
I suffer from a debilitating condition known as atropic chokitis.
Peter's one of the greatest depositors I've ever seen.
Trust the process. Let's go.
I got auto matched with Levitan. This is bullshit.
If I just go the other way in that 66, I win all the money. All the money.
If I had 150 lineups, I'd win too.
Process over results.
Illuminati make a bitch go crazy. I don't know which one of these my baby. Bust out AP, 35 bullets in your head like KD. Bust it, bitch go bust it. And I had 10 pints with me in Russia.
Hey everyone, indeed here. Yeah, the GMs are taking on a different form today. Hello, Darkness, my old friend, GM Neil. What is up, Allie, Laura, GMs, Brady. Lost to my wife in a head-to-head. DFS sucks. That's incredible. Did you mention that in the Hand Builders channel? Were you the one that was debating between, what was it, like Neighbors and Whittington versus... was it McLaurin and Calcaterra? I can't even remember what your 2v2 was at this point, but I think I remember seeing that. What is up? Josh, Doom, Chris, Jupiter, AJ, feeling it out. Ooh, Dagus Max. Haven't seen you in a while. What's up? GM Ashton. This week was worse than last. Returned $0 on DraftKings.com. Yeah, man, it was brutal. There were like, I was reading through some of the chats in the Deposit Kingdom Discord last night. It seemed like a universally bad day for most of the Deposit Kingdom, like 99%. There was a few standouts. Our guy Yoshi, maybe he'll be in the chat, had 2 top finishes in the Wildcat contest, had a really nice day. But the rest of us were down bad for sure. The Tank Dell love that I was giving both on the Cram show yesterday. I was in on Dalton Schultz from the Deposit Kingdom video. What a whiff by me. What a whiff by Tank Dell, too. Opened up that game, dropping a touchdown, just like right in his lap. He actually had a decent target share yesterday. Just an all-time disappointing performance from the Texans. Yeah, my takes were not dialed in this week. We'll talk about it across both of the sites here, but let me get through some of these GMs. We'll pour some coffee, and then we will check in. This week, if I had 150 lineups, I think I'd just lose even more money. Yeah, one of my saving grades is I didn't end up getting to 150 in Battle Royale. I got to 125. There were just too many side contests. I was busy. I was spending some time on my DraftKings lineups, so I didn't fully max it. And then I'm like, well, it's nice because that is, what's 25 times 7? Whatever that math is, that was just money I was going to lose anyways. What is up, Jonathan? The ultimate process over results test week. Yeah, I think there are definitely some takeaways. There is some structural things to the players who hit on Underdog, where they were going in ADP. And it is, obviously there's exceptions to every rule, but it was often plays that I'm almost universally fading that fall into a tricky range where they don't project that much differently than the players who are going undrafted. So when the Jahmyr Gibbs, the David Njoku's, the Joe Mixons, a pocket of the draft board that I'm generally overlooking all hit, it's just going to be an absolute coffin of a week for me. The running backs yesterday just went nuts. When you have Kareem Hunt falling in the end zone 2 times, the amount of running backs who had 2 touchdowns or over 100 plus yards was nuts. I was so gassed yesterday that I didn't even stay up for the Monday Night Football game. I normally stay up right when the main slate ends. I start writing the Fantasy Life newsletter. I write the newsletter and a recap column. So I just kind of go dark and write that. And I emerged and it was like halftime. And normally I'm like, all right, I'll buckle in and watch this. And I was just like, I can't. today. I'm going to bed. So I missed that game. I see that Devontae Adams went from a 2-5 team to another 2-5 team. I see that Russell Wilson was able to successfully connect on some deep shots to George Pickens, and that the Steelers remain a wagon despite benching their winning QB. So I believe that's the TLDR. If I missed anything else, let me know. Oh, I know. I already saw this too. The Texans home versus the Colts next week. Lord knows we're going back to the Tank Dell role. Yeah, this is probably one of the biggest tilting things for me yesterday was Deebo Samuel. And he's asking why we didn't get a sub for Deebo Samuel because he was not ruled inactive. So for people who aren't familiar, we talk about this late swap a ton on Underdog. A good example of getting a swap would be Cooper Kupp, right? He had the Q tag, then they rule him inactive. So in that late slate, you were going to get swapped to the best available player still to go in the 4 p.m. games after his game started. So maybe you got Jordan Whittington, maybe you set your ranks, maybe you got Deebo Samuel. He could have been a guy you got swapped to, but Deebo was not ruled inactive. He was active for the game. So this isn't like the sports books where you can beg them to rescue your entry or void your entry just because of the goodness of their heart or some marketing angle. Deebo Samuel played, and we can be upset at the Niners. In fact, I think we should all be very upset at the Niners, who continue to pull this bullshit. They did it in week 1 with CMC. The Jordan Mason found out he was starting on a Thursday, didn't report any of it. And now they do it again with Deebo. Deebo woke up sick, and we did not find out about it until 1 p.m. or what was it? Like 1 minute before the game, like 4 p.m. Eastern is when we heard he was sick. Comes out. I think he registered like 3 snaps, which is again why you're not getting the swap. And then he goes to the locker room. Dude's over there on the sideline with oxygen. And so, yeah, I'm not mad at Deebo, but I'm fucking mad at the Niners because they continue to get away with this bullshit reporting. And there's way too much money on the line, not even our own Battle Royale entries, people betting massive amounts of money on these games, and we deserve better reporting. It's bullshit. And I was one of the people who was slamming Deebo Samuel yesterday. So yes, this one hits very close to home, and I was slamming him in a lot of drafts leading up to lock. It would have been really nice to have that information. And then you can let us parse the information how we want, right? We got some Kenneth Walker reporting. I parsed that information and I said, you know what? Kenneth Walker is fine. Okay. I don't think him having a tummy ache on his birthday, the night he was in Atlanta, is going to, really hamper his production. But I would have liked the opportunity to process the Deebo Samuel news. I would have liked to have said this matters or it doesn't matter. And apparently it mattered and the Niners didn't tell us. So that's why you didn't get the swap. That's why I'm tilting. And holy shit, the Deebo experience this year has been wild. What was it? It was 3 weeks ago. It was Deebo was projecting like a smash. We all played him and he flopped. Then he plays on Thursday Night Football against the Seahawks and he goes off. He has that log touchdown. So it's not on the main slate. And then I'm sitting here licking my chops. We did the portfolio review last Monday. And I did my first look draft literally a week ago. And I was like, Deebo's here at pick 27 or 28. I'm like, this isn't going to last all week. Like Deebo always projects as a top 10 ceiling option. He did project very well. His ADP never moved up. I kept clicking him and clicking him and clicking him. And then he didn't play at all. So the Deebo Samuel experience has been rough this year. It has been very rough. Wait, why is Kitchen going to let me hear? Oh, because of Russell Wilson tomorrow? Oh, yeah. All right, let's pour some coffee. That Deebo rant, I did have to get that one off my chest. I thought we were going to get to it when I got to the Underdog portion, but I got teed up for it earlier. So nice to get that out of our system here. But let's get some coffee in our system, and then we can get going. And yes, this was another one, the Jordan Whittington. I was not quite as financially invested in that one, but that was another bullshit one. He's on the injury report is questionable. The Rams say he's good to go, and then they just have him suit up on the sideline and not play any snaps. Would have been nice to know that Tyler Johnson was going to run ahead of him in 3 wide receiver sets all day. All right. We got some coffee. I just realized I did forget to make a fresh pot. So we at least got one pour in there, but I don't think we have another pour in us. We got a little dribble after that. All right, let's get to actually looking at some lineups, and we will try to walk the tightrope today of reviewing, tilting, catharsis while not losing our minds too much here. Let me get this screen up here, and we will add this to here, and we will start looking at our GPPs on DraftKings. And this week, I put a couple of lineups into the DraftKings $100 Milli Maker. Normally I'm a spy bro, a red zone bro. But it's hard to not want to chase $1 million top prize for a $100 contest. Obviously, it means the contest is a lot bigger than the spies, which can be, $5K range generally for the big spy. This one had 27,800 entrants. My best team in this, I put 2 in this, and then I put 1 in a spy. The best team was one we had simmed on the cram on Saturday night. So I did a solo after dark, or not cram. Yeah. After dark. I did a solo after dark on Saturday. It was a very fun show. We went for like 2.5 hours. A bunch of you were hanging out in the chat. We were drafting teams, building pick'ems, and then checking out the DFS slate. And we were looking at lineups. And I remember this one kind of stopped me in my tracks as we were looking at stuff that was grading out well. And it was a Jared Goff double stack. So I'll read it here for the audio listeners. Jared Goff double stack to Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. Yeah, you know how that ended. It had Aaron Jones on it as the other piece in that game. It was a double tight end lineup with Brock Bowers and Jatavian Sanders. I believe that's how we got to this lineup, because I was like talking through the 2 tight end stuff, and I was like, I love the Brock Bowers and Jatavian Sanders pairing. And so I think we lock buttoned those and then ran double stacks and then simmed it in this field to see what graded out the best. And then it also had Trey Tucker on it. So one of those phantom stacks, Trey Tucker and Bowers without the quarterback. And then the last piece was Chuba Hubbard. So another little mini correlation here, Chuba and Jatavian Sanders, nothing with Washington. And then it had Bengals defense. And I knew this was a good lineup for the big $100 millionaire maker, just because the ownerships were going to be so low. Goff 3.3%, Jones 9.2%, Amon-Ra 8.4%, and Jameson Williams 9%. I mean, the only player who was even, remotely chalky in this was Chuba Hubbard at almost 30% and Bowers at almost 19%. But otherwise, I love this build. I loved this team, and I actually thought it had a chance to be fun there for a little while. I guess, how could I have gotten my hopium up? Maybe Jameson Williams is Khalif Raymond instead. Then maybe that gets us going. Brock Bowers and Jatavian Sanders did their job. Jatavian going 6 for 61 at 2,900. I'll take that. Bengals defense dropping 15. I'll take that. Was never going to win a tournament, obviously, with this, but I overall like this lineup. Trey Tucker only scores 7.7 points. Chuba only scores 11.2. It is what it is. But this team somehow min cash. We did get our $200 for the min cash. So I guess not all was lost. The moral of the story is simming lineups on a Saturday night with your friends on After Dark can lead to a profitable lineup. The other line, oh my God. I honestly hadn't reviewed this other lineup going before the show. This team scored 63.44 points. This was the other lineup I put in to the Big Millionaire contest. Okay, here we go. It was CJ Stroud to Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz. No surprise there. Get that at 3% Stroud, 13% Dell, 9% Schultz. I do bring it back with Josh Jacobs at 8%. That was the only good play in this lineup. Well, I guess I had Aaron Jones too. So it has Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, has the Deebo Samuel snowflake. You wonder why I'm pissed off there. And then I went with Colby Parkinson as part of the double tight end there. And Brown's defense. So this lineup scores 63 points, 5 points from Stroud, 0 points from Deebo, 0 points from Tank Dell, 5.3 points from Jackson Smith and Jigma, the majority of which came on a moon ball to DK Metcalf that he threw. 3.8 points for Schultz, 5.2 points for Parkinson, 3 points for the Browns. I mean, just this lineup is yesterday in a microcosm. The running backs go off. I get a combined 40 points for my 2 running backs. Whatever, we can live with that. And then I get a combined 5.3 points. I don't think you could do that if you tried. I do not think you could say, I'm going to play 3 running backs and get less than 5.3 points. Can anyone beat that? Can anyone send me a lineup on DraftKings.com where there are 3 wide receivers combined for 5.3 points or less? Yeah, and like the Stroud stuff, I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. Bobby Slowick does not want to throw the ball. He just does not want to. I mean, I think it would take a colossal negative game script for the Texans to be forced through the air in like a consistent manner. This team just does not want to throw the ball. They got the Ferrari in the garage, CJ Stroud. Yeah, I was not in on like the Mahomes stuff as much as some of my peers this year in season long and in best ball, but I was very much in on Stroud. And I'm sitting here looking at this weaponry with Dell and Diggs and Nico, and I'm like, no, Stroud's going to throw for 5,000 yards. Like, this is the greatest wide receiver trio we've ever seen assembled. And holy shit, did I not account for PFF Bobby wanting to run the ball every goddamn chance he gets. So one of these days I will learn to stop touching the hot stove that is the Texans passing game, but I did not learn that lesson in advance of week 7. Okay, someone already beat me. Don says he had a lineup in the Deposit Kingdom with 2.7 wide receiver points. There we go. All right. I don't think there's anything else to learn from this lineup. Let's see who won the millie, though. Let's just be pissed off at who won the millie and what kind of garbage they won it with. Need lunch money, who now does not need lunch money, took it down with 180 points, ran away with this contest. Second place down there with 168, so cleared it by over 12 points here. Had a Geno Smith skinny stack to DK Metcalf. No, the double stack to DK Metcalf and Noah Fant. This again kind of speaks to how weird yesterday was. On what other slates could you win $1 million with your primary double stack resulting in 17 points from your quarterback, 19 points for the wide receiver 1, and 10 points for the tight end? And you have a fucking 0. This man won $1 million with a 0 from Juju Smith-Schuster. Holy shit. The Gibbs-Amon-Ra correlation was the correlation you needed yesterday. My best underdog lineup had a Gibbs-Amon-Ra team. That is here. Obviously, you play Mixon, and then you have Njoku, who you needed, who ended up just being the chalk piece that got home at tight end, and then Commanders' defense paid up. But this is a wild lineup. I mean, it's not like a bad lineup. Like, I think it logically makes sense. Seattle double stack, don't force the bring back on the Falcons chalk. Gibbs, Amon-Ra together. You go double tight end because that's where the value was. You pay up for the Commanders defense because everybody is playing Jaden Daniels and Brian Robinson and Terry McLaurin. That's a nice leverage piece. And then you play Juju Smith-Schuster because you got to save some money. And it doesn't even matter. I wonder what the sweat was for this user going into that game. So he was having to fade a little bit of, I guess, Zach Ertz late. There just wasn't a ton late. I'm just wondering if they had any kind of sweat. I guess with this lead, you're leading and you're like, Juju's out for the game. Clearly, I'm going to get hunted down, right? No. Win $1 million. Must be nice. He's a very well-known DFS player. Not that well-known if I don't know him, brother. Work on your branding, need lunch money. All right. Let's look at, I had one other lineup in the SPY. They had, I think they didn't have both of the SPYs this week because of the $1 million, $100 contest. So I had this one in the 25K to first SPY. the 1.7K. I believe we call this one the Nate Nolan contest. I think this is the one he had second in last week. I rolled out a Sam Darnold kind of onslaught here. Darnold, Jefferson, Addison, Munt. The ownership did get a little steamed here, which made sense. I remember when we were looking at ownership on the cram, I was like, there's no way Geno's coming in higher than Darnold. There was just a ton of steam for this game everywhere. So Darnold comes in at 17%, Jefferson at 28%, Addison at 20%. And then Johnny Munt, I don't mind tacking on there at 1.5%. In this lineup, I played Brian Robinson. I played Trey Sermon for some reason. I started talking myself into that matchup for the Colts, but he is not good and losing work to Tyler Goodson. So that's an L for me there. Of course, I had to get Tank Dell in more than one lineup. Thank you for that, Snowflake, again. And then I put George Kittle in the flex because I was liking the 2 tight end stuff with the punt and then the pay up tight end. And then I had Giants defense, who ended up being bad punt chalk at 2,500. So no more takeaways from this lineup. I wanted to play the Vikings onslaught and it did not get home. First place here. Look at these first place teams. Holy shit. This dude took first place in the SPY for 25K with 4.5 points from Tim Patrick and 3.9 points for Harrison Bryant. What a week. What an absolute week. 11 points from Tyler Goodson. This was the week about just getting the 3 to 4 dudes who went off. Like every running back went off yesterday, and this guy won a tournament with 11 points from Tyler Goodson. Yesterday was fucked, man. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tim Patrick. That was the smart play. Why pay up, mid fives for Jamison Williams, 2 points or whatever he got, 0 points, when you could just pay $3,500 for Tim Patrick? Do you think Sean Payton is seething whenever he sees Tim Patrick doing good stuff? Had a near touchdown last week. Like the Broncos were selling us on the Tim Patrick revival story as we entered the preseason. And then Sean Payton cuts him so he can play little Jordan Humphrey instead. Whatever, I'm over it. This has to be the worst projected lineup to ever win this SPY. I mean, if you told me, if you came in here, think about how messed up this is. If someone said to you, you could win the SPY this week and you're going to have Tyler Goodson, Harrison Bryant, and Tim Patrick in the lineup. You couldn't ever even take those 3 pieces as information and reverse engineer a winning lineup. I guess maybe you say it means I'm on Goff because Tim Patrick goes off. I mean, how do you ever arrive there? How? Mickey Tank Bank takes it down 158 points. Mickey Tank Bank is actually a very popular DFS player. Not in my world. Never fucking heard of Mickey Tank Bank. All right, let's look at the Deposit Kingdom. So the 3 lineups you guys have already seen, I tossed in here. That Jared Goff lineup that from Saturday night finished in 46th place. Let's see who took down the Deposit Kingdom tournament. Smashmouth Bucks. Smashmouth Bucks. Fucking Dink Piece in here. Dink Piece in second. I saw Shady Advice up here. Get these guys out of our community contest. Get them out of here. I'm going to tell DraftKings, you know what? We got to keep the Dink Pieces out here. Keep the Shady Advices out of here. Let us just have our $10 3 max rake free contest. Either that or you man up and you hand build that phone on the shitter. That's the new thing. You know how it's like there's we got data technology now. You get like the Retina eye check. I need to make sure every Dink Piece and Shady Advice lineup is hand built on their phones going forward. Pay no attention to the fact that I used a sim to build mine in here. But you get my point. Anyway, Smash Mouth Bucks won with a Sam Darnold team. Look at what took down tournaments. Smash Mouth Bucks, how does it make you feel to know you would have won $25K in the SPY with this lineup? Sorry, I had to do it. All right, Sam Darnold to Justin Jefferson. Oh my God, this is sick. Sam Darnold to Justin Jefferson with a Jahmyr Gibbs and Khalif Raymond bring back. How in God's name did you get to Khalif Raymond? I thought Tim Patrick was a bridge too far, and Smash Mouth Buck says, hold my beer. I'm playing Khalif Raymond. Unreal. Darnell Mooney, the Barkley Gibbs pairing was nutted. Those guys go for 65 combined points. Jatavian, this team won with Jalen Waddle at 5,300. Unreal. What a day. This lineup. You Barkley, Gibbs, Jefferson. That's all this lineup had. And you won $2,000 with it. I'm not mad. I'm impressed. Yeah, Nerdy. This involves you too, buddy. This involves you too. Stay out of our primetime paloozas while you're at it. Who is taking Jalen Waddle in this economy? I'll tell you who. Winners. Winners are taking Jalen Waddle. I refuse to look at Ding Piece's lineup. Ace Rothstein here also had a Sam Darnold. Didn't even play Justin Jefferson. That's how wonky this day is. Someone rolled out a Sam Darnold double stack with Aaron Jones and Jordan Addison. Didn't even have Justin Jefferson and get second place in a tournament. Also had the Gibbs Amon-Ra correlation there. Yesterday was the day to punt. Noah Brown on this lineup, 2.6 points. Doesn't matter. Top three. Jatavian Sanders gets in Brian Robinson. This was really the skeleton key to yesterday. You jam in 3 6,500 or more running backs. Gibbs, Aaron Jones, Bijan Robinson. Easy game. Bucks fan? What is up with all these Bucks fans winning? Smash Mouth Bucks. Bucks fan. Or no, what is this? Is this Bucks? Bucks U2 fan. Is that really the username? That because you like the Buccaneers and U2, you just jammed it into the username? And look, I'm not here to throw stones from glass houses when it comes to usernames. Geno Smith to DK Metcalf. Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs, T. Higgins, Elijah Moore, Darnell Mooney, Texans. It's like if you just blocked out like everything, like where these are placed, and you just looked at the lineup and how many points you scored, you would think these are min cash lineups we're looking at right now. This is what like a min cash lineup looks on a regular day. It's so funny too, because like in the DFS world, you know, there's the thing where a lot of times the sharps say like the low scoring weeks are the weeks you want to win, right? Because generally the implication is that the chalk fails. And so if you're the contrarian bro, you can kind of win with a lower scoring lineup that just sidesteps the chalk and performs slightly better than the chalk. But that's not even what this was. Like these lineups are like, I mean, some of them have chalk. So I don't know. This slate is breaking my brain. I don't know what happened yesterday. At least Brock Bowers is good. That's fun. Yeah, man. We're out here losing to U2 fans. Optimizers are out. Randomizers are in. That'd actually kind of be a fun premise for a show. If I built like a Millie Maker lineup each week and I put like we put a bunch of random shit on the wheel. It could be a specific player, but it could be like double tight end, or you have to spend exactly your full salary cap. Just some like weird challenges. those lineups would probably perform better than my lineups have been performing this year. Normally in the chat, it's like someone being like, hey, check out my lineup in 13th place. Or, hey, will you check out my lineup in 16th? I want to know if I built a good team. It's just crickets today. No one wants their lineup looked at because I hated all the lineups that were at the top. On the bright side, the week 8 Battle Royale is open. Nice. Nice. Don got 5th. Panthers fan? Okay, finally something that's different. A Brock Purdy to Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. The David Njoku, George Kittle pairing was nice. You get T. Higgins, Trey Tucker, Bijan, Josh Jacobs, Rams defense. Again, winning a tournament with 4.3 from the most expensive piece in your main stack. What a world. Tim says, I like how every week we look at the Millie Maker winner and comment how absurd the construction is, and then we all just keep playing safe, sane lineups the sim suggests. I would not say the lineups I'm playing seem safe or sane. I would argue that there are 2 out there. Yeah, the Bucks fans all winning before they even played tonight on Monday night. Save some for the rest of us. All right, here we go. MNF got 8th place. Anyone but Juju, and I take down the best tournament in the world. Goddamn right. It's the best tournament in the world, and that's why we need to build a wall to keep out dink piece and shady advice and nerdy tenor. Make the Deposit Kingdom 3 Max contest great again. What place did you say you were? 8. Cowskin Giant Killer. Sam, finally a non-double tight end lineup. This is when you have the foresight to play Jonnu Smith, you don't even need 2 tight ends. 1.9% Jonnu Smith goes for 22.6 points. This is the best lineup I've seen yet in the top 10. Darnold double stack to Jefferson and Addison, bring it back with Gibbs, play Kyron Williams, Trey Tucker. You play Trey Tucker because everyone's playing Brock Bowers, and you just see through the goddamn matrix and play Jonnu Smith. I think JM actually mentioned Jonnu Smith on the on Block Party on Friday. You take a bagel from Juju Smith-Schuster. Apparently hamstring spasms are real. And then Rams defense. Nice job. Dude, the Jason joking here about breaking news. Kyle Pitts promoted from redacted to PPR scam. Dude, the death of Kyle Pitts has been greatly overstated here. Let me read some nuggets here from JJ's data dump newsletter every Monday morning. Since Kyle Pitts' goose egg in week 4, he scored 15.8, 10, and 13.5 PPR points while averaging a target share per game of 19%. He had a target share of 25% in week 7, which was a season high. Kyle Pitts is back, baby. No one played him. And no one played him last week. You're banned on the ship chasing thing? Did I actually fully ban you? Normally I just do the timeouts. Send me a message somewhere else, Discord or Twitter or whatever. Send me an email. Send me an email to info@peteroverzet.com and I will unban you. CSI? CSI was all over Johnny this week. Who's CSI? Who are you? Who? Jonnu. Who are you? Jonnu. That's all I got for a CSI joke. Sorry. Playoff Rondo, I've seen you this comment twice. Talk about the 2-game slate. We are eating the shit from yesterday right now. Do you see the schedule for the show right here? Do you see this schedule? GPPs, Battle Royale, Best Ball, Guillotine, Pick'ems, First Look. We are not there. We are still eating the shit in the top of the show. We were in segment 1 of the show. 35 minutes in. We haven't even moved to our second topic. Relax. And then I'll give out a total shipper for the 2-game slate. Oh, Coach Speak Index. I of course I know Coach Speak Index. I didn't know that we were all rocking the acronyms with him these days. Now Coach Speak Index is going to do something with that clip. CSI Vegas. I used to love the original CSI, like pre-Miami. Like that was one of my go-to shows as like a middle schooler. I fucking loved CSI. Remember the judge? Remember that episode with the corrupt judge? That was like one of, it was mainly just like refillable storylines, like not really story arcs throughout the season. But they had one about the judge who ended up being the murderer. And he was playing this game of cat and mouse with the detective. I ate that shit up. Gil Grissom, dude. Yeah. Original CSI was dope. All right. Anyways, let's move on here to the next topic. Battle Royale. So I played my heaviest volume I have played on Underdog yet this year. I believe I had about 2,500 to 3,000 in play, somewhere in there. It got a little combined with some of the short slate stuff. But I got dusted. Shout out for the QB Sneak going live on my worst week. This was the $250 single entry with 5K to first. Did not do well there. Had a Cousins, Barkley, Brian Robinson, Drake London, Deebo Samuel, Travis Kelce, fucking Deebo Samuel team. That was nice. Put 5 entries into bomb, $100 a pop, no cash to be seen. My best team finished in 113th place. Hurts, Aaron Jones, AJ Brown, Drake London, Deebo Samuel again. Are you noticing a pattern? Here, I'll show you my exposures from yesterday. 227 teams. Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 1 exposure, good. Drake London, second highest exposure. I mean, like process-wise, whatever. Deebo Samuel. I had 927 underdog dollars on Deebo Samuel yesterday. He was on 1/4. Can I do math? 1/4 of my teams. And I got a 0. Terry McLaurin, next at 22%. George Kittle, 22%. I thought yesterday was going to be an awesome day because very first series of the game, Aaron Jones rips off a 40-yard tutty run. And he was one of my biggest stands, my highest drafted running back at 20%. I had Bijan as my second highest. Like, I should be cooking, right? We're cooking. No, we were not cooking. Tank Dell, 15%. Anyways, let's go back and look at some of the tournaments. The Blitz, single entry, brick. Flea Flicker, brick. Flea Flicker, brick. Battle Royale, 125 entries. Best finish was 814th place. I think I had like 4% Josh Allen yesterday, but he ended up on this team. Josh Allen, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, DK Metcalf, George Kittle. Was this a team? Did I draft this team on? Was this the first look team I drafted? No, the first look team I drafted had Deebo Samuel on it. This does not feel like a team I would have drafted. So I'm like trying to remember when I drafted this team. I'm like, I wasn't taking much Josh Allen. I wasn't taking much Joe Mixon. It has 0 correlation on it. I do not remember this lineup. So first place for 50K, congratulations to AGNM, had Hurts to AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Njoku, Joe Mixon, Gibbs. So yeah, like Mixon, Gibbs, Njoku were pretty much the guys you needed. Let's see here. Mixon, Gibbs, Njoku to second place. Gibbs, Njoku in third place. Mixon, Gibbs, Njoku again. You needed those players. Let's go see how much I had of them. How much David Njoku did I have? 3.1%. How much Gibbs did I have? 4.8%. And how much, who was the other guy? Mixon. 2.2%. So when you have a combined like 7% to the trio of nuts you needed, it's going to be a rough day. Going to be a rough day. But this is to do an actual little bit of, and when I was talking at the top of the show of how these are just going to be slates, I'm never going to win. Joe Mixon, ADP of 16.7. Like, I talk a lot in the Deposit Kingdom videos too, which, by the way, I've been doing the weekly strategy videos over there. Make sure you're subscribed to the Deposit Kingdom channel. There's generally, and we talk about this on Off and On the Clock with the Badge Bros on Fridays too, of like, where is the cutoff on the slate where like the elite talent drops off? And by this, the best way to think about it is you would basically want any mix and match combo of those players however you can get it. To me this week, it was kind of like Terry McLaurin was that line, and then the tight ends as well, Bowers, Kelsey, Kittle. Again, separate the results. Think about just the projections, the process, etc. I would mix and match those guys however I could. But after that line, you fall into a territory where you wouldn't want these guys on every team. You could get them, and they don't project that much differently than the running backs who go later. So to me, I'm sitting here looking at Joe Mixon, who's going to have a 100% ownership, and I'm saying I can get Aaron Jones at sub 20%. I can get Jordan Mason at sub 20%. I can get Brian Robinson at, sub 50%, 15 picks later than this. So I am always going to miss when one of these guys who fall just outside of like the elite echelon of BR plays go off. And that happened 3 times yesterday. So Mixon, 16.7 ADP, pick 17. Jahmyr Gibbs, ADP of 28.6, pick 29. Again, I was scrolling past him for Aaron Jones and Brian Robinson. Then David Njoku, same thing. ADP of 32. He was the tight end 5. That is normally the spot I am avoiding. I'm avoiding tight end 5, 6, 7, and I'm either getting an elite guy at the top, or I am scrolling down to other kind of correlated pieces. I was doing Schultz. I was doing, Calcaterra with Jalen Hurts, etc. So it was impossible for me to win on this slate. Just the way I play, it is what it is. GG's to everyone who won yesterday. You're better than me. Let's look at the Deposit Kingdom here. I'm bummed I'm almost out of coffee too. Ducks may cheer us up. Yeah, we could do some Ducks. This is where we're at right now. I don't even have coffee. I don't even have a dribble. Ugh, down so bad. Down so bad. Can you check the Deposit Kingdom? Yeah, we're going to look at that right now. All right, Deposit Kingdom. First place, dubious 18 here. Jordan Love, Barkley, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, DK Metcalf, David Njoku. Naked Jordan Love, Barkley, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Metcalf, Njoku. Incredible. Incredible. I'm never drafting this lineup personally, and it's what you needed this week. The Barkley combo with Amon-Ra is nice. This is kind of like one of those slides we talked about last week. It was the Derrick Henry Bijan combos that were a little tougher to get. This one was tougher to get, right? Because Amon-Ra had an ADP of 6. He slides to 10 in this draft. So that ended up being a huge piece to be able to get that unique combo and kind of locking in those points there. You really needed, Jefferson, AJ Brown or Amon-Ra at the top of drafts, and that's hard to do if you're getting Barkley, Kyron, etc. So that faller's good. And then Metcalf ended up being, again, one of those strong plays right out in that cutoff range for me. He could have had a bigger day if he didn't leave earlier with that injury. ADP of 18.6. He goes for 17.9 points, which you will certainly take on a day like yesterday. Congratulations, Dubious. Peyton 5 McMullen takes second place here with a Naked Hurts team. Joe Mixon, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Chase, and George Kittle. So you get that Gibbs-Amon-Ra pairing. Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, and Kittle. This is a nice start here again as well. You go Chase. Oh, we got Chase at 9. So took Amon-Ra at 4, get Chase at 9, come back and get Kittle at 16. This start is how a lot of my teams would look. It's like, I'm with you. You had me in the first half. And then I'm scrolling right past Joe Mixon. I'm scrolling right past Jahmyr Gibbs. And then I'm probably doing Purdy, Goff, or Burrow on this team with one of these 3. And that's why I lose. That's why I lose. A lot of chalk about Jaden Reed in the chat. I guess that one's a little less tilting for me because I did not have a ton of Jaden Reed this week. I didn't love the setup for him. Yeah, only 3.1% Jaden Reed. Sacrilegious had a really good note about Jaden Reed on Stat Chasing. I highly recommend that show for everyone. That's one of the trio of shows we do over on Chip Chasing each week. Dricko and Sacrilegious go live on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's a utilization and trend show. They have some really helpful charts, kind of forward-looking, forecasting that they're able to do for the slate. And Sacrilegious had some really good notes about Jaden Reed and how they have, when he's coming back from injury and not 100%, they've used him more as a decoy and haven't loaded him up with touches. So I actually haven't looked at the underlying utilization for Reed yesterday. I guess we can do that right now. But I got a little spooked on him and ended up not playing him a ton. And you can see here, his routes were fine, 84%, but only 13% targets per route run, which was way down from where he's been, 26%, 23%, and only 13% of the targets. So he was out on the field, but just not earning targets at the same clip. Romeo Doubs comes back, has a massive target share. Wicks getting a lot of the downfield looks as well. But yeah, it's frustrating with the Jaden Reed stuff for sure. I had one good lineup and it was an accident. I literally had one good lineup and I remember it. Mathology, are you still in the chat here? So I finished 7th in the fullback dive. And I remember this specific lineup because I was doing, this is a $25 5max contest. One of my favorites on Underdog. I love the fullback dive. I love the DeBomb. Those 5max contests are great. And I go Amon-Ra at 4. I go Drake London at 9 and then George Kittle at 16, just like one of those starts I was telling you about. And I go Aaron Jones at 21. I go Jared Goff at 28. And I'm saying I'm going to grab my Jameson Williams double stack here. I'm going to get my Jameson Williams double stack. And Mathology snipes me. I go to search in the app. I hadn't even seen that he got selected. I go to search in the app. Where's Jameson Williams? And it says he's already been taken by Mathology. Dun, dun, dun. And I go, what? And I'm like, I don't want to skinny stack Jared Goff here. So I'm like, oh, fine. Jahmyr Gibbs is here at pick 33. I don't always take Jahmyr Gibbs, but I do when I get sniped on Jameson Williams and he falls to pick 33. So my best lineup was an accident. I didn't even want this to be my lineup. I was mad when I drafted it. I was shaking my fist at Mathology. I even referenced it on the After Dark show. I was going through the people I had bones to pick. I was mad at Chris G for sniping me on Dalton Schultz on a team. I have my list that I keep throughout the week of people who wrong me in drafts, but sometimes it leads to a 7th place finish for $350. I had kind of mentally checked out of sweating the slate yesterday because I was just completely dusted. But then I did notice this team that had George Kittle, and I was like, you know what? If George Kittle scores a touchdown, I could jump. This team had me blocked. This team had me blocked, but this team. So if Kittle scores a touchdown, I'm like, I can get up into 4th place. This was my sweat yesterday. This is how down bad I was. I was like, if Kittle scores a touchdown, I can get 4th place for $725. And that could really, bring my ROI up by 10%. Yes, I'm begging you to snipe me. I appreciate you, Mathology. We just found our one winner from week 7 in the Deposit Kingdom. Good guy, Purple Yosh. Let's see. Let's go look at his lineups here. Because I was in the Wildcat. I put 50 in here. So shout out to Yosh. His username here is Steampunk Mario. Finished in 6th place for 132, or with 132 points, and then finished in 8th place. And then had the same core in both of these lineups. Mixon, Gibbs, and was it AJ Brown in both of these? Yeah, Mixon, Gibbs, and AJ Brown in both. One of them was a Jared Goff to Amon-Ra stack, and the other one, and had Njoku in both those. So the same core 4 players. And then, I already saw your lineup, Yosh. I don't, what's the word? I don't hate it. It makes my blood boil. No, I don't hate it, Yosh. I'm legitimately very stoked for you. What I do like about it, Yosh, is you clearly had your core plays, right? When you have 2 teams that finish in the top 10, you had a vision for what you were doing in week 7. So congratulations, Yosh. 2 top 10 finishes in the Wildcat is very impressive. 4,500 in winnings, only 36 entries, I believe I saw on the screenshot. So if you had 36 entries, you would have won too. Again, goes to prove you do not need 150 entries to finish in the top 10. In fact, you could only need 36 entries to get 2 in the top 10 there. So thank you to Yosh here as well, gifting some memberships. Very nice of you here to do so. And I believe Yosh shouted out, I had Jordan Chand from SaberSim on After Dark a couple weeks ago, and we were kind of talking about contest selection, and he was highlighting the Wildcat as kind of one of the best, I don't want to use the word entry level, but just one of the best contests to play on Underdog, just from a price point and tournament structure standpoint. Really nice structure there to have a $3 draft with a $10,000 top prize. And, it's been about half the size of the large BR. So you're competing against less entries, still very smooth up here. 10th place, a 10th of the first place prize, $1,000. Just a really nice structure. And if you, if you're trying to work up your bankroll to do more of the big BRs or the other side contests, I do think the Wildcat is the place to be. And yes, Yosh is a Detroit Lions fan. So very fitting that Yosh wins on the Gibbs and Amon-Ra explosion weeks. Trying to see if there was anything else we could check in on Dawg Bowl. I didn't recognize. Oh, Crash Rich, I recognize that name. But MTapper13, Aho Daniel, did not recognize these guys here as far as who is heading to Dallas. Let's just take a look at what was winning the 12-person contest. So Brock Purdy, naked Brock Purdy, gets that rushing touchdown. Joe Mixon, Kareem Hunt, Amon-Ra, T. Higgins, Jonnu Smith. Wow. Another lineup I'm just never drafting in a million years. Is this a true 6-leg parlay? I guess Brock Purdy opposite Kareem Hunt. Joe Mixon one off, Amon-Ra one off, T. Higgins one off, Jonnu Smith one off. I'm never drafting this team in a million years. Congratulations, M. Tapper. Second place, Josh Allen, Jahmyr Gibbs, Aaron Jones, AJ Brown, T. Higgins, Zach Ertz. Another 6-leg parlay, Gibbs, Aaron Jones, I guess in that same game. Allen one off, AJ Brown one off, T. Higgins one off, Zach Ertz one off. Oh yeah. No, I mean, respectfully, I hate these lineups. With all due respect. Goatnap says, but I don't have a ticket and they do. But you do have a $50,000 account balance after week 6. So you do have that. I know. It is crazy. And it's like, there were ways like you could have won a tournament with Kittle Purdy for sure. One of these tournaments. I think my best team. Let's see. Yeah, I had a Kittle Purdy team in the Dawg Bowl. This team finished in 90th. So I had Purdy. This team was kind of close. Had Purdy and Kittle. Had Bijan and Aaron Jones. And then T. Higgins and I did Darnell Mooney there to get another piece in that Atlanta game there. Who did I need to draft instead of Darnell Mooney to win? So I would have been 106, 116. I was 18 points off the cash line. What sixth round wide receiver scored 16 points? I want to say if I just go the other way in this 1v1, what late round wide receiver scored 16 points yesterday? Was there a single one? I need to find one. I want to do this to myself. God, I hate how I like looking at the DK Live leaderboard, but their formatting on the players is always borked. Keon Coleman? I think Keon Coleman was it. Is that only PPR? Keon Coleman had... Okay, that's only PPR. All right, yeah, so it was impossible. I was never going to Dallas. All right, that makes me feel better. It was mathematically impossible for me to get there with this lineup. My best team finished in 67th in the Dawg Bowl was Josh Allen. I legitimately don't even remember drafting this team. I don't remember drafting so many of these teams. What was I doing on this team? Did I auto this? Josh Allen, Jahmyr Gibbs, Aaron Jones, AJ Brown, Christian Watson, Kyle Pitts. I have zero recollection of drafting this. Like most of my teams, I like vaguely remember. Like I remember the Purdy Kittle team. I remember this Sam Darnold. No, this was the one I autoed on After Dark. I have no recollection of this team. I don't even remember selecting Christian Watson on a single contest. I'm truly stunned. I think I could go through all my lineups and remember them. Kirk Cousins, Drake London, Darnell Mooney. That was one of the first Dawg Bowls I did. That Kirk Cousins double stack. I don't remember selecting Christian Watson once. Maybe I'm losing it. Maybe I am just an old guy with a big nose who can't remember shit anymore. Oh no. Oh no. If that was Dobbs instead of Watson, you win a seat. There we go. Now we're cooking. You know what? Could that? No, because it would have the swap here if it was a swap. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah, let's celebrate something good. The Commanders blowing the absolute doors off the Panthers so much that they were able to bench Zach Ertz finally for Ben Sinnott. What did Ben Sinnott's usage end up even being in that game? Ben Sinnott ran 25% of the routes, which was still the same as John Bates, but had a juicy 29% targets per route run, 8% of the targets. Should we go to as we transition to best ball? Should we go look at the Ben Sinnott advance rates? Let's first look at Ben Sinnott advance rates, 15.6%. That is shocking to me. I guess one touchdown from a late round tight end helps you. You know what? This has to be just directly correlated with Jaden Daniels, right? Because what teams are Ben Sinnott on? They're on Jaden Daniels teams. You were a sick pup if you were taking Ben Sinnott without Jaden Daniels. So that actually now makes a lot of sense. Let's see how mine are doing. See, mine are more below. I'm advancing 2 of 14 Ben Sinnott teams. We will take it. We will absolutely take it. Let's see where I'm at. All right, my advance rate, honestly, compared to some of my peers, Don't mind this advance rate. 26 of 150, slightly above expectation, 17.3%. I don't think this was my first place or my best team when I looked last week. I think last week it was the Chase Brown, Zach Moss team. So we got a new best team in the BBM portfolio clubhouse. Kirk Cousins, Drake May, and Justin Fields. Jonathan Taylor, Raheem Mostert. My best team has been taking zeros from Jonathan Taylor and Raheem Mostert. Dare I say bullish? Tony Pollard, Ray Davis, and Jordan Mason. Drake London, Stephon Diggs, Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed, Keon Coleman, A.D. Mitchell, Demario Douglas. Goddamn Jalen Hyatt. George Kittle and David Njoku. This team is, I like this team. You have a Kirk Cousins team that doesn't have Kyle Pitts. George Kittle, David Njoku might be the nutted tight end pairing outside of Brock Bowers. Drake May coming on. And now I just need Taylor and Mostert to come back. Got Ray Davis and Jordan Mason. We didn't even talk about Tony Pollard chalk failing yesterday. What's my second place? This is the team we've been looking at. Chase Brown, Zach Moss, yada, yada. Man, what a roller coaster for this one Aiden O'Connell team I have. Do I just have one Aiden O'Connell? I think that's right. I should only have one. Wait. Why is it saying I have 25 Aiden O'Connell teams? That can't be right. Oh, non-rostered players. Oops. Here we go. Aiden O'Connell. I have one Aiden O'Connell. I dare you to show me a 100% advance rate with your Aiden O'Connell bags, because that's what I have. Geno Smith, Derek Carr, Aiden O'Connell. It's a Brock Bowers team where I was like, I gotta have a stack. Gardner Minshew's gone. I gotta have a stack. James Cook, Tony Pollard, Jerome Ford, Austin Eckler, and Jordan Mason. Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, DK Metcalf, JSN, Brian Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, rest in peace, Mike Williams, Jalen McMillan, Travis Kelce, Brock Bowers. This team is so close to being really good, but it's not. Bye-bye, Rashid Shaheed. I mean, those receivers at the top there. Jefferson, Nico, Metcalf. Whew. How many Kittle Bowers teams you got? I'm going to guess not enough. I was trying to mix and match Bowers with a lot of those guys. See, only two Bowers Kittles. How many Bowers Pitts do I have? Two of those. Let's do the depressing ones. How many Kincaid? Two of those. I think McBride. I think I have a decent amount of McBride Bowers ones. Only three. Okay. God, this will be the depressing one. It'll be Andrews and Bowers. Two there. Okay, maybe I wasn't Kelsey Bowers. How many of those? One. All right, maybe I wasn't mixing and matching that as much as I thought. I mean, a decent amount for the double elite tight end. Who's the other tight end up there? Laporta Bowers. Oof. Two. So basically I have like two of Bowers with all of those top seven guys. The Bowers thing has been one of the fun bright spots. I had him on 24 teams there, advancing 7 of 24, so 30% of Bowers teams. Good chunk of them in the hunt here, not too far behind. Yeah, 7 of 24, yeah, 30%. We can go look at my exposures again. Bowers ended up being my most drafted tight end, my fourth most drafted player. Yeah, 24 shares at 16%. Bummer for Neighbors to have a down game, but Daniel Jones just imploded. It's so funny how, like, looking at your top exposures, like how you feel about them after a specific week, like the lens just completely changes. We had the Zach Charbonnet the 2 weeks. We had Neighbors just destroying the world. Chase Brown trending up. Rico trending up. And then like so many of these guys just come crashing back down to earth. Charbonnet, Neighbors, Brown, Rico. Who knows when fucking Jonathan Brooks is ever going to play again. Bucky and Ray Davis, I still feel really good about these guys. Xavier Worthy, like, come on, man. JSN, better thrower than catcher. Some of these look good. Definitely get Nico Collins back. Pitts is fine. Kittle's a smash. Need Addison to get cooking. I don't want to scroll down much further than this. Let's see what's in first place right now. First place is Bolt TJM with a Jaden, Kirk Cousins, Baker. That's a pretty nutted trio there. Barkley, Kamara, Javonte Williams, Bucky, and Braylon. I think this team was in first last week because I was like, I have no notes for this team. I thought it was a great team. Bowers and Goddard, Chase, Evans, McLaurin, Godwin, Rice, Jacoby, Mooney. It's wild that this team is still sitting in first, and it hasn't even had Baker, Baker, Evans, and Godwin go. It lost Rashee Rice. Didn't have Jacoby Myers this week. This is not going to be a team that I think is going to make a deep run. No offense, Bolt, TJM, but very strong team. Do we know anyone in the top 10? Is anyone in the chat have like a top 20, top 30 BBM team? I'm trying to see if I recognize anyone up here. Sam Olsen, of course. Underdog Reg / legend. Has a Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr. 3 quarterbacks with Josh Allen? That's a no-no, Sam. Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, Alvin Kamara, Tank Bigsby, like that little hyper-fragile build. Tank Bigsby, Uber Smash. Chris Olave, Rashee Rice. Lost Rashee. Godwin, Shakir, Shaheed. Oh, man, this team is dead. But it was so pretty. Minus the Adam Thielen. Bowers, Ott, and Knox. Mathology's in 117th. Okay, all right. There you are. Hurts, Burrow, Daniels. Burrow and Daniels with Hurts? That's a no-no. Devon Achane, Barkley, Mixon, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving. Chase, Terry, J-Mo, Josh Downs, Mooney, Tolbert, Wilson. Remember Johnny Wilson? At least this team is pretty healthy. I mean, like, not season-ending injury. And then a 3 tight end build, Freiermuth, Gesicki, Ertz. Nice. Hartman's in 79th. Rodgers, Baker, Gibbs, Henry, Cook, Corum, Bigsby. That's a nice running back room. Garrett Wilson, George Pickens, Godwin, J-Mo, Samuel, Wicks, Downs, Corley. Fucking Malachi Corley, man. Dallas Goedert, Hunter Henry, and Ben Sinnott. Nice. Sorry, guys. I got to draw the line. I got to draw the line at top 150. I'm not scrolling to 300. And I'm certainly not scrolling to 609. Let's see anything else here on the season-long best ball tab here. Let's check out my elims. Oh no, my eliminator ass team. Am I about to get bounced? It would appear so. My God. 71 points. All right, bye to this team. And another 8th place. This team scored 42 points this week. 42? I guess it still has Lamar to go tonight. Doesn't matter. No CMC. 0 points from Mostert. 6 points from Chase Brown. 0 from Ty Chandler. 3.3 points from Jalen Wright. Insane. Nico, 0. Devontae, 0.3. Keenan, 0. Rome, 0. Hopkins, 0.3. Thank you, DeAndre. Thank you, Mason Rudolph. Jacoby Myers didn't play. Bateman to go tonight. Darius Slayton, 1.6. Bowers, Ottencraft. All right. GG's to the Elim community. I tried, and I failed. Weekly winners. Oh, baby. Sitting in 2000th place with a Jared Goff, Bo Nix, Daniel Jones team. Ken Walker, Jacob, Zamir White, AJ Brown, Drake London, Wicks, Neighbors. I can't even look at this. It's too painful. Oh, it has Johnny Smith on it. Don't check our Mastiff together? Done. I won't. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else? What are we doing? Are we looking at our big board teams? Is that how down bad we are this morning? 36 entries, advancing 4, 5. You know what? The portfolio I was doing the worst on was my sprint teams. Let's see how bad those are doing. I'm advancing 1 of 20 sprint entries. That is below expectation. You don't have to be a math whiz to figure that out. All right, I don't have any more best ball hawking in me today. Sorry, I just don't. Let's check on the Guillotine League. And spoiler alert, I lost last week. I got the axe. See that bright red strike through? Means I'm done. And I went to the grave with 886 fab dollars, which is egregious. But let's check in on Guillotine Watch tonight. So actual points right here. And oh man, I think I just barely got the blade last week. Let's actually look at it. I want to relive the pain. So I lost by what, 3.5 points or so to Nana Pete because of the resurgence of Breece Hall. So that was heading into that Monday night game against Buffalo, and Breece dropped 21.9, and I just needed him to be like under 18. Great. I threatened to stop doing this segment once I lost, and I still might, but you're going to get it at least from me today. So tonight, holy cow, the chosen Deezer has only 39.2 points, but has Baker, Wilson, and Godwin going. So that should be all right. You can always sort by the projected points here. So it looks like the sweat here is between Deezer and Let Keenan Eat. So Deezer has a 5-point head start with Baker, Wilson, and Godwin versus Dan's Derrick Henry and Mark Andrews. Which side do you like? I think you got to side with the quarterback. And it looks like projected points are siding with that. Has Dan projected to lose by 5 points? That should be a good sweat. You should be sweating, Dan. At least you got Derrick Henry. Who's in first? Nana Pete, who just barely beat me last week, now drops 123 and still has James Conner to go tonight. I actually have in one of my other Guillotine leagues, so I'm in 2 other ones. I have a sweat tonight. So this is a league like JJ and Tom Everett Scott and Scott Fish and Paul Chark, and there's a bunch of people in this one. And I like my team, but it had a rough go this week. So 0 points from Debo, 0 from Tank Dell. Jordan Mason, who obviously was a key piece, I got him, I think, in the draft as like a late round pick. So he's been huge. But I only have 55 points. I do have Lamar Jackson going tonight, but when you look at projected points, there's a few teams here behind me that could chase me down. Baker Mayfield, but I should be able to hold. I should be able to survive this one unless Baker goes nuts and Lamar doesn't. Team in last place still has Henry, Harrison, and Likely, so that's a little scary. I have been enjoying the Guillotine this year, despite getting bounced in that other one. They do have these rolling contests going too. If you guys want to jump in there, there's different price points. You can also create private leagues if you want to like spin one up with your buddies. You can still kind of draft them for rest of the season. I got the link down below if you guys want to check out the Guillotine leagues. All right. It's 11:15. Let's do a little bit of Monday Night Football stuff. We can do a pick'em build. Speaking of pick'ems, I mean, again, normally pick'ems like help salvage the day a little bit. Let me go to my results because yesterday was a pick'ems bloodbath. Everything that I was on did not get home, either narrowly missed. There's a Tank Dell. This was from our cram. I was like, let's get our 3 lock plays here. Brian Robinson, Aaron Jones, Tank Dell. Tank Dell ruins that one. Often on the clock, our game script one with that Atlanta in Seattle game. This one, heading into halftime, had Metcalf, Tutty, Noah Fant had already hit his higher, Bijan had already hit his higher, and we were basically looking at Geno needing to get to 36 pass attempts in JSN to clear 50 receiving yards. And spoiler alert, that didn't happen. That defensive Tutty hurt, and then we lost, essentially a full possession there, but directionally accurate on this one. Yeah, it's a bloodbath. It's all red here on the pick'ems. So we need to get even tonight. Let's do a little crowdsourcing. I have a few things I like for this slate, but do you guys have any pick'ems here? I can go over to the Underdog pick'em builder as well on Fantasy Life to get some ideas going. The Fantasy Life projections like a lot of the hires here. You're not going to believe this, but I do like Trey McBride to score a tutty tonight. Doom likes Evans TD lock. What kind of odds are we getting? 1.25. Yeah, it's a good matchup for both the Bucks wide receivers. Ravens have been really stout against the run, but leaky in the secondary. Seems like Evans is completely fine. You know, he was on the injury report throughout the week, but no injury designation. Ayuk owes me money. I feel you, brother. So, Tim, I was looking at this one too. Dobbins higher on rushing yards. I was kind of liking the rushing attempts angle for Dobbins. You know, he has started to lose a little bit of efficiency, but I still don't think, I know there's a lot of wish casting with Kamani Vidal and him having a bigger role. I still think this is the J.K. Dobbins show. I think I really like over 18 rushing attempts. They came into that game with Denver, and that was the first game with no Gus Edwards, I believe. And we saw him pop up to 25 rush attempts. And the Cardinals' run defense, like Tim said, is really bad. So I like the Dobbins higher than 18 rush attempts. Flowers yards, maybe. Baker 1.5 TDs. Evans numbers low. Not sure how healthy. Let's check out. One of these days. Wow, that is wild. Zay Flowers has a higher touchdown expectation relative to these underdog odds than Mike Evans. Flowers yards, I do like it. He has been an animal these past few weeks. The other thing I was reading, so Matt Irby over at Legendary Upside does game breakdowns for the island slates. And he was talking about the Bucs defense and how with their coverage, they've been a bend, don't break defense. So they're not giving up a ton of big plays deep, but letting teams kind of pick them apart over the middle. So I do think that lines up well for these guys. What do we like more? Yeah, the yards. I'm going to put that in the idea box. I do love Zay. I think he's strong. Derrick Henry overs. Yeah, Schmohawk, I was looking at that receptions. If I like that more. And you're getting a 1.08. He's coming off of a 7 reception and a 9 reception game. It's always tough because there's also, you know, if they have a really positive game script and they're running there, you kind of like the out for Zay to get there on a big play with the yards. Seems like, yeah, looks like we're leaning a little bit to receptions. The more I look at it and I look at the extra odds, I mean, he's coming off of a 7 target game and a 9 target game, or sorry, a 7 reception, 9 reception game. it did really seem like they figured out how to use him recently, and then this is a good matchup. Do you like fantasy points for JK on UD? We were just talking about Dobbins. I like the rushing attempts because like I just want to lean into one thing I know for certain, and that's the Chargers' commitment to the run here. So I think whether they're winning or losing, we're going to get a good amount of J.K. Dobbins. All right, lots of enthusiasm for Mike Evans here. Needs one more TD to hit 100 to tie Largent and Tim Brown all time. We'll get the idea box going, and then we can kind of curate how we want to do these. Also, it looks like we have a special in here. Kyler Murray higher than 0.5 yards. So we'll toss that into one of them as well. What does it max us out if we do that? Okay, so it isn't capping it. That's just so we just get the Kyler in there. 13 versus 8. Okay, that's nice. Sam likes Godwin. Lamar rushing yards higher. I'm sorry, I can't do the Jalen McMillian state. Yeah, the Shepherd I think would be the angle if you want to go that route. I mean, when we look at the let me go over to the utilization report to look at some of the Bucs stuff, because McMillan's return last week and it was still Shepherd. Shepherd had 83% routes, 12% targets per route run, 11% targets. McMillan down at 15%. I think like if you're doing the primetime Paloozas and you want to like get ahead of it and play McMillan as a dart throw, I could see it there. But I think in the pick'em stuff, it's probably too fancy. Yeah, that's a good point. If Flowers gets 6 catches, would think he goes over 62.5. Yeah, I guess it maybe me leaning into that bend don't break thing. If they keep a lot of it underneath, that he could be a little bit more of a PPR merchant. Is this how we middle it? We do 2.5 rushing receiving first downs. It seems like we all like the Zay Flowers stuff. What's up, Clay? Am I allowed to bet on ship chasing curse players? Yeah, that's how we win. I bet on them all year. I just take unders. You got to lean into the curse. Man, Derrick Henry unders seems scary. Yeah, that was the other takeaway. Just me talking about the Ravens tight end set up for a good game. Yeah, Tennessee, tight ends versus Baltimore. This is actually a Kate Otten point. Tight ends versus Baltimore have finished tight end 8 or higher in 5 straight weeks. But I do also like the Ravens tight end stuff. I don't think I would use Ravens tight ends in a Zay Flowers reception one, just because maybe a slight negative correlation there. I did like under on Rachaad White rushing yards, but the numbers come down. I saw a few people liking it at 32. I think it's down to 27 now. Yeah, Rachaad White's at 27.5 rushing yards. So it's a tough matchup. He's coming off of an injury. We see the Sean Tucker, Bucky kind of breakout games. It's a little scary. That number's so low. So Mark Andrews is at 28.5 receiving yards. And then Likely's at 25.5. I think my favorite way to play Likely would just be longest reception, 15.5. Andrews, I think you could play it as straight yards. Let's see their this usage again. So Likely, so they both ran 60% of the routes last week. And they both had the exact same targets per route run. That's really interesting. And the exact same amount of targets. Wow. So it's just like an even split right down the middle. But you see, I guess their ADOTs have been similar too. So they are getting used down the field a bit. It's crazy how similar their metrics were last week. Like nearly identical. 18, 4-4. A-dot within 1.3 yards. Air yards within 5 yards. That's crazy. Yeah, there would be. I think there's probably some fun correlated angles too. If you take Rashad Wright lower rushing and then play, okay, they're not giving us any Bucky rushing yards. I'd be interested in seeing that. Are we not getting any Tucker, Sean Tucker either? I mean, Tucker's probably only going to get like 5 touches in this game. But yeah, no yards for him either. Anomalies likes over. Connor over 14.5 carries if you think a winning game script. Dortch over 2.5. I don't know, man. He the offense that feels like the Justice Hill one from last week that tanked it. This team is like really consolidated around McBride. I love the McBride stuff tonight. Basically, every way you slice it. I mean, his usage has been awesome. Look, we got to get a McBride thing in here. So he's coming off of 8 and 9 targets games. He has an awesome targets per route run. He's on the field for virtually every snap. The 5.5 receptions feels nice. He's been at 6 and 8 the past few weeks. 51.5 receiving yards. Trey McBride burns me so many weeks. Although normally it's just chasing the tutty. I guess the like cowardly way out is you just play the fantasy points so you have a couple outs. But I do think 5.5 receptions with a 1.x multiplier or 10.25. If McBride sells another one of these, I'm applying to State Farm with Davis. He's got to score. I know. It sure feels like that. Let's do all right, this is what I'm going to do. We need to get even, so we are going to put Trey McBride to score. And then we're going to put in our Kyler promo. That gets us up to a 47x. I'm going to wager on this enough to win how much I lost yesterday. I'm going to see if I can get even. How much does 50 get me? Okay, so 50 gets me close. 50 is about how much I ended up losing yesterday. That's almost exactly what I lost. Okay, we get it all back with this pick'em. Here it is. J.K. Dobbins higher than 18 rush attempts. Zay Flowers higher than 5.5 receptions. Mike Evans, tutty. Trey McBride, tutty. And then the Kyler Murray gimme. 0.5 total yards. This one feels real good. This one feels like it's going to come down to one of Evans or McBride needing to score. J.K. Dobbins smash, Zay smash. One of Evans or McBride is for sure going to score. And then it just comes down to the other. All right, this is how we get even, boys and gals. If you guys have other ones that you pick'ems you end up building, let me give a pro tip. So I will tail a lot of different things. If I even like the general vibe of either you or your pick'em entry, I will tail. But you got to share the link. I see people sharing screenshots of just it, and if I don't have the link to click, I'm just going to be too lazy to do it. So share some good pick'ems in. You could drop the links in the comments if you want, or in the Discord. Tag me on Twitter with them. Let's get even tonight. All right. So we got about 15 more minutes until ADP chasing goes live. I have good news and bad news for ADP chasing. The bad news is no Pat Kerrane today. Had something on the family side, so we don't get to see him and Sam go at it with Justin Fields. But in his absence, Jacob Sanderson is going to come by. They're going to talk all about, the rookie outlook from a season-long perspective. Which ones are you excited to be to have on your teams? Which ones are you panicking on? All of that good stuff. Always enjoy having Jacob on the podcast. So ADP chasing will be live directly after this at 11:45. I have the redirect set up, so you can just simply refresh and you will be ported over to Davis, Sam, and Jacob talking rookies. All right. So people said we got our stuff in the lobby. Let's do one Monday Night Football primetime draft. So it's so funny. Yesterday, I rage drafted a few of the primetime Paloozas thinking it was Sunday night. Like, that's how discombobulated I was. I was like, sure, I'll just like rage enter these. And then I was like, wait, these are all Monday Night Football. Let's do one of the single entry here. You guys want to come and join me in this $5 Monday Night Football bash? I did made some rankings before we went live here, so I'm going to draft some of these today. All right, Sam's tailing me on this pick'em entry to get us back to even. Hartman likes Jalen Thompson tackles. Yeah, so this slate, you have Lamar up top, and then I think Kyler and Baker are pretty close, and then Justin Herbert is your consolation prize if you miss out. Tight end, there's McBride at the top, and then Cade, Andrews, and Likely are fairly close. Running back, I like J.K. Dobbins a lot on this slate. Henry and Connor obviously at the top, and then kind of choose your own adventure with the Bucs running backs. Wide receiver, you got the Bucs guys, Zay, Marv, Ladd, and then it really gets thin. Michael Wilson, Palmer. Are you talking about this Monday Night Football one, Payday, or the Week 8 slate? But yeah, for this slate, I like getting the wide receivers and then seeing if you can get like Dobbins to fall. I mean, I take Derrick Henry in the ones I did yesterday. Was taking Derrick Henry at 101. So Lamar goes. I haven't been getting a lot of Lamar. Let's do a Godwin and Zay here. Yeah, I actually, as far as, we've had some of these gross primetime Palooza, like quarterback ones. I actually don't mind Herbert as the QB4. Like, the Cardinals have been bad against both the pass and the run. It's like a decent matchup for the pass catchers. And when you really think about the 2v2s, I mean, round 1 Lamar versus like round 6 Greg Dortch, or round 1 Chris Godwin versus round 6 Justin Herbert. Like, you do really need a new game from Lamar. It's certainly possible, but I do think the 2v2s are going to like quarterback late. So Dobbins, no hope for that to fall. JT goes Henry, McBride, Kyler. We'll see what JW does here. If JW doesn't go quarterback, I'll be able to get Baker. Otherwise, Justin Herbert will be our 6th round pick. And he goes lad. So I will take Baker on this team. Rip a Monday Night Football. That's what we're doing right now, brother. Exactly what we're doing. All these players here on the screen, they play tonight. So we'll do Baker, and I think we just go Baker and Otten and go, we go the double stack. I don't think this is a hot take. I like it too. Yosh saying he likes the double. Loves the Monday night. I thought you were going to say double tight end. I was going to say I don't mind on this slate because I think the Ravens tight ends can kind of keep up with some of the pass catchers going in the same range. I'm with you on the double Monday Night Football because I'm going to be staying up anyways. I write the Fantasy Life newsletter for Tuesday, so I stay up and watch those games. And I like doing the YouTube TV split screen and having both of them up. Because what was it, like 2 weeks ago when we had that awful Titans game, and I was able to just keep the audio on the other one, but still have that game up? I'm with you. More games is always better. Like watching an Island game, like I lose interest so quickly. The commercials, it's brutally long. Like last night, I had zero FOMO going to bed with that Steelers-Jets game. John Warner up at 8:30 a.m. Man, what's your preferred Bucs running back order for tonight? The projections are still going to like Rachaad White the best. Bucky is definitely the funner, I know better play. And then Sean Tucker, I think, is kind of just like a Hail Mary. It's a tough matchup, and it's the team has been telling us it's going to be a split. I think like you're going to see Bucky lead them in rushing with like 10 to 12 carries. Rachaad White's going to have like 6 to 8. Tucker will have 5. Rachaad White will play the majority of passing downs. But I say all of that, and like I am taking Rachaad White on this team. Like I have a Baker onslaught. I want the passing game to be cooking here. And then what do I want to do here? I kind of like, I'm just going to rip this in as an onslaught. We're going to grab Sterling Shepard down here. Baker Mayfield, Rachaad White, Godwin, Shepard, Otten, Zay Flowers, and we fade Arizona LAC. Probably not going to win, but it felt good at the time. I'm telling you that Bucky's the IKB play. Sean Tucker is like, I am God play, and I received the answers to the test. You have to be an oracle. I will book any amount of lowers on Tucker getting 12 plus touches. I would bet a lot of money on that. Oh, that's fascinating. I didn't know that. bbmdb.com. The winner of BR shipped it with a single entry. GG's to them. Let's do one quick Battle Royale first look for week 8. And then I will get on out of here and you guys can head over and check out ADP chasing. All right, let's look at this slate. First time I'm seeing it. Quarterbacks: Allen, Lamar, Hurts, Mahomes, Love, Mayfield, Goff. Isn't it so funny? It's like Josh Allen's going in the 6th round, undrafted sometimes, and then boop, nope, we're back to him being the 101. Tight ends, we got Bowers, we got Kelsey, McBride, Njoku, Ingram, Kraft. Oh yeah, this is do we not have any buys? Is that what this slate is? No buys? Yeah, so we are packed. Tight end looks like a good slate. I mean, I guess this is going to field deep everywhere. J.K. Dobbins. So I'll book this right now. Like, J.K. Dobbins is going to be a riser after night. He has an ADP of 35. He's going to have a good game tonight against the Cardinals. And the Saints have emerged as one of the worst run defenses in football. So I will call Dobbins moving up to this like DeAndre Swift range after tonight's game. And if not, I'll have a decent amount of him against New Orleans there. Wide receivers, we got Chase, we got Brown, Amon-Ra, Drake, Tyreek. So the market is already playing to his return here. Godwin, Devontae Adams, man, Evans at 22. Diggs, Amari, Garrett Wilson, Zay, DJ Moore, Reed at 32.9. Metcalf, people worried about that injury, him at 33.9. Brian Thomas, we didn't get to talk about him because he was in the London game. He looks awesome. There's our Tank Dell. Fast forward to Friday. Welcome to my Hidden Gems video on Deposit Kingdom. Our wide receiver, we're going with Tank Dell, ADP of 35.1. I can already see my future. All right, we're taking Breece Hall. Breece Hall in the first half that I saw last night looked awesome. $13-game main slate. Should be a good one to scroll down, only to get who are the guys in the mid-range who will shove it down our throat this week. Who's the running back I won't draft a ton of at these ADPs? So the guys I will have like none of will probably be like Kamara and DeAndre Swift. Just guessing. Definitely probably not a ton of Swift and Kareem Hunt. So those are the guys that are going to bury me. Who at wide receiver? I won't have a lot of like Diggs. Diggs will probably bury me against the Colts. I won't have much Amari Cooper. He'll probably bury me. I'm fine going back to Drake London. This game has a 48.5 total. Can definitely throw on Tampa. I was looking at my Scott Fishbowl team. I posted this in the Ship Chasing Discord this morning. Tank Dell scored points in Scott Fishbowl. What is going on with Scott Fishbowl scoring? Tank Dell got me 4.6 points. Look at this. Tank Dell, or 4.8 points. How is that possible? He didn't register a catch. What is going on with these scoring settings? I don't even want these points. I don't deserve them. 4.8 points from Tank Dell. I'm definitely not going to end up having Gibbs unless Monty is more injured than he seemed, but he came back in that game. I'll tell you what I will. I'm going to just keep selecting Brock Bowers. I think I'm going to take Brock Bowers in the third round whenever I can get him this week. That's my early take. Was it a return kick? They had him on kick returns. That is hilarious. Okay. All right, that makes more sense, I guess. Barely. It makes more sense than it did before, but it still doesn't make much sense. All right, Joey, we get it. We get it. You were at the game. You saw it with your own two eyes. Man, was that a fun game to be at? I guess if you're a Packers fan, what did you get? Joe Mixon tried to do the Lambeau leap in the fans. Were you down there shoving Joe Mixon out of the stands? All right, this is where we scroll. This is where we scroll. DJ Moore versus... This is where we get back in on Jaden Reed. We're scrolling. This is where we get back in on Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed against this Jags team, who is atrocious, gets another week to get healthy. And then we'll stack him up with Jordan Love. Yeah, it is pretty interesting that Njoku's still on the board. I don't mind the DJ Moore thought there. I mean, the Jags are already dead, but yes. The only worry is that they do fire Doug Peterson and the team shows some signs of life. There's always that dead cat bounce for the teams that are atrocious that fire their coach, and everyone's just so relieved not to be playing for them anymore that they play especially hard. Didn't that happen with the Raiders when they turned to Antonio Pierce and they looked like world beaters? All right. I'm going to shut this down because I just realized ADP chasing just got underway. So I'm going to let you guys head over there as I was zoning out, thinking about Doug Peterson being left in London. Appreciate you guys. I know a lot of us had a rough week. We will bounce back. We will win our pick'em tonight on Monday Night Football. And then we will get back in those streets for BR, for week 7, for DFS, all of that good stuff. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week. I will see you tomorrow for the Swolecast at noon. Peace.